like to give a floor now to Yaroslavna Karpova. She is the Global Ambassador Head of Education Abroad Department. And this company is working and helping students enter the universities abroad. I would like also to specify one little detail, though it is a big detail for now, that we are talking about information which is right now, which challenges we face right now for during this academic year, because the world is changing so fast that maybe in few months we may have a bit different information. So that is why, dear parents, please remember that we are talking about nowadays. If your students are still the students of grade 7, 8, or 9, then you will have to receive the update information later when your students will come to the graduation age. Okay, Ms. Yaroslavna, so I would like to give a floor to you. We continue speaking English. So that is why for those parents who need the translation and who join us a little bit later, you can find the symbol on the screen where it says the translation or перевод. It looks like a little globe. Click on that symbol and you will get the translation into Russian. So you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, Mr. Leonid, Miss Natalia, Miss Angela. Only the Russian citizenship, so this information will be highly valuable for you. If you have a double citizenship, well, no issues, right? Probably you will not have any issues with the visas at all. So what will happen today with this presentation that you can see in front of you? You can see the presentation, right? Everything is okay?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. So a small introduction about our company, first of all. We are Global Ambassador, right? globalambassador.ru. You can find all the information about us online. We're in the market since 2009, and we opened a new international platform, which is boosted by the artificial intelligence Globamba in 2022, right? So the point of our company is to prepare students for specific exams and to help them get into top universities and get scholarships, right? This is in short. If anybody is interested in more information, all the information is online. This is me. I am your speaker today, and I'm for the past 10 years, I've been focusing on immigration. In the past, I was an immigration and criminal and family lawyer. I'm from the UK myself, but right now I'm in Yekaterinburg. I came back to Russia for family reasons. And for the past 10 years, I've been helping students get into good universities and focus on their careers. Right. So before we kick off, I would like to, for the comfort of everything, I would like to spread this presentation into 3 different segments. So the first segment, we will focus on the visa issues for Russian citizens. If you have a double citizenship, if you have a different citizenship, European, Asian, your case would be a little bit different, right? And we can speak about your case later. So the second segment, we will look at the most popular countries where the students apply, what jobs are in demand, and we will look at the deadlines and the documents. And the third segment, the last one, we will look at the application issues and waterstones you should look out for, which is very, very important. And at the end, we will have a question answer session. So if you will have any questions while I'm doing this presentation, please write them down, remember them, and we can talk about them in the end, or we can organize an individual session later on. So let's go. So first of all, an update on the visa issues. So the update is valid as of September 2023. Of course, there are a lot of countries, and of course, as Miss Natalia said, a lot of things. I would say 80% of your case will depend on your specific document set. So it's quite useless to speak about all of the countries. So we decided to set out only the most important aspects. So right now we have an issue only with 8 countries right now for the Russian citizens. The Czech Republic, no visas are issued until March 2024 at all. So end of, right? The university will be happy to accept you, right? You can apply, you can get accepted, you can get the invitation letter, no problem with that. But regarding the visa, highly unlikely. The same goes for Estonia and Latvia, full suspension of the long-term visas, long-term meaning student visas. Regarding Lithuania, Poland, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and so on, they have a lot of restrictions. And while they do not specifically say it out loud that we suspend visas for Russian citizenships and so on, and we terminate the visas, they don't say, there's no information on the websites. They just say apply and we will take a look at your case. But in reality, the situation is quite difficult because, for example, this year, a lot of students were accepted to Slovakian and Slovenian and even Bulgarian and Polish universities, and we are still 7 months upfront from the reception of the invitation letter. We're still waiting for their visas, and the consulates, they are apologizing. They're saying we can't really do anything. You need to wait. So in those countries which are highlighted in red, it is very, very unlikely that somebody will get a visa in 24 or even 25. Other countries which are highlighted in black, Switzerland, Norway, it's not only those countries. We can also put Denmark in there. We can also put Finland in those countries. So they don't have any restrictions on the student visas, right? So students will not have a problem in getting into the university and getting the student visa. The problem might be with the parents. So mothers and fathers, if you wish to visit your children in the respective countries, it might be impossible because a parent needs to get a short-term visa or a tourist visa or a Schengen visa in order to visit their child in a specific European place. Some countries make it impossible. For example, Netherlands. The Netherlands are not issuing tourist visas for the past year and a half, I would say. And the last one, the university policy. The university policy is a tricky one because even if we speak about countries like US, Canada, or UK, where, well, you pretty much can apply, right? No problem with the universities, no problem with the visas, no problems at all. But some universities, they have their own internal policy. They might have one, which is completely, which functions completely separate from the law itself, right? The universities, if they're private universities, they are their own land, they are their own rulers, and they can do whatever they want. So sometimes you might see a university which says, we do not accept Russian citizens. It happens very, very rarely, but it does. So all you need to do is to just keep an eye out on it. If you see a university like that, you do not apply. That's pretty much it. Apart from those restrictions, obviously the immigration law, it's very fluid, right? As Miss Natalia and Miss Angela indicated that if you're in grade 8 or grade 9 right now, in 2-3 years, the laws will change, right? The laws are not fixed, so everything changes all the time. So countries may open, countries may close, we don't know, right? So we need to stay updated at all times. Anyways, that's it for the visas, I believe. Now let's take a look at our second segment of the presentation, the top destinations. Let's look at the statistics. So the most popular countries you can see on the left-hand side, where do the students usually apply? So Country number 1, 2, and 3, United States, UK, and Canada, right? This statistics, it pretty much stays the same without a change for the past 9 years, I would say. Those countries are the most in demand because of the employment market, right? And the salaries and the top universities. And from the right hand side, you can see colored in blue, you can see where the undergraduate, the bachelor degree students go most often, and the graduate students where they go or where they remain after they finish their bachelor degree. Then let's take a look at the subjects. What do students usually study when they go to US, UK, Europe, you name it? So those statistics, they are quite fluid, I would say. Because let's take a look. Back in 2010, such subjects like engineering, they were, I would not say very popular, but right now the popularity of those subjects because of the inclusion of the artificial intelligence and the development of the computer sciences, they are more in demand right now. But the majority of students actually go into medicine, health, and business professions, as you can see. Colored in dark blue, business is by far the most popular subject. The reason why it's the most popular might not be so pleasant for some students. The thing is that many universities in Europe or in the US or in the UK, the thing is, it's very easy to get into business, right? And many students use this as an advantage and then transfer into year 2 or year 3 into a more desirable subject. The other reason, so it's 50-50, two reasons, right? The first reason is that it's very easy. The other reason is because business, it's not really a specialty, let's agree. Business is very fluid, so you can do anything you want with the business degree later on. You can go into computer science, you can go into architecture, you name it, basically. So business opens a lot of roads, but also it can be quite a dangerous one because there is a lot of competition, right? And we all know the point of getting the bachelor degree is to later on get a good career. Now, let's take a look more in depth at the most popular countries. I have a few countries in this presentation. Obviously, well, we were not able to include all of the countries in here, but the most popular ones, let's take a look at the reasons. On the right-hand side, you can look at the statistics of the rankings of the universities from 2023. So those are the most recent statistics on how reputable the university is. Right, so in the US, I would like to take your attention to, I think the most important thing is tuition, scholarships, and postgraduate work permit. This abbreviation in here is a postgraduate work permit. So this will indicate to you how many years you can remain in the country for work, to seek employment. This is very important because there are some countries, like let's say Switzerland, which gives you only 3 months to find employment. In reality, in accordance to the immigration laws, it's impossible more often than not, right? This is why the majority of students go to Switzerland during their master's or PhD years, because after a bachelor degree, employment is almost impossible. Anyways, US. So in US, you have your community colleges and your bachelor degrees with their respective tuition fees, right? Tuition fee can be minimized. So if you always dreamed about the US, but $70,000 seems a bit expensive for the current situation, always remember that there are scholarships. There are many names for the scholarships. For example, there is financial aid, there are merit scholarships, there are presidential scholarships, there are fellowships, teaching fellowships. So a lot of different names, a lot of different abbreviations, But the point is one, you can get money, you can minimize your expenses. Always remember this one rule. And the postgraduate work permit, if you go into business, if you go into a humanitarian subject, you will get the right for optional practical training for 1 year. If you go to US to a STEM subject, a STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? In analytical subjects, you will get 3 years right to work. Then the UK. Let's take a look at the UK. So the respective tuition fees are, if you decide to go into a foundation year, you will pay around 13,000. If you go for a bachelor degree, expect 17,000 and more. However, this is very relative, remember, right? This is just statistics. Of course, there are bachelor degrees which cost 8 and 9 and 10 and so on. Regarding scholarships, in the UK, it's quite difficult to get a scholarship. I would say this is the most difficult place in the whole of Europe or in the whole of the world where you can get a scholarship. They do have scholarships, but they're small. So if they give you anything, they give you maybe 2, 3, maybe 5,000 pounds per year, and that's it. On the bright side, postgraduate work permit. 2 years ago, UK decided to give its graduates the right to work for 2 years, irrespective of the fact which skill you have, humanitarian or STEM subject, doesn't really matter, right? Then China. Considering the latest developments between our country and the US and Ukraine and so on, China has become very, very popular, right? In China, you can actually study in English. You don't need the Chinese language to get into an English-speaking bachelor degree. You don't. However, there is a thing, and nobody really speaks about this, but I believe it is important. In China, you need to know Chinese. You need to learn Chinese. So if you decide that China is for you, China is a very, very interesting place. It's a different planet, right? And take a look at the right-hand side. China boosts the top world universities, right? It's the biggest developing economy, and they have the best employment market for IT, for artificial intelligence right now. And you can get in with only English language, but do keep in mind, if you go there, it's a must for you to go study Chinese, because the employers and everybody else, even in the university itself, many professors speak only Chinese. So you will need this language and you need to understand the culture. Tuition is very low in China. In tuition, the statistics show us that you pay from 13 to maybe $35,000 per year. However, there are some universities that charge you $5,000 to $10,000 per year. So very affordable, very interesting, very innovative, I would say, for a direction. Visa is very quick as well, unbelievably quick, so 5-10 days. This year, actually, I had one student from International School of Tomorrow. He went to China with me and he got a full scholarship. So he's paying zero, literally zero. And I think that's pretty much it about China. We can speak later about China a bit more if you wish. Then Canada. Canada is the most popular of all places because of its immigration law. So it's not really related to the education itself. Education is fantastic as well, because look on the right-hand side, we can again see world top universities, right? Toronto, McGill, the top researchers, top professors, all come from there. But Canada has a really big problem. It has a huge deficiency of skilled workers. And for this reason, Canadians, they tell us, if you study with us for at least 2 years, so it doesn't matter who you are, if you study for 2 years, you will get an automatic work permit. This is very important. The most important word in here is automatic. So postgraduate work permit, it is given to you immediately on graduation with the change of status, of course, and you can stay in Canada for 2 or 3 years. It depends what kind of employer you find. So 3 years is usually given to students who go into STEM skilled professions. And that's the main reason. And also, this is the reason for quite a big percentage of visa refusals. If you ever heard about such a thing that Canadians refuse visas for everyone, please remain calm, because the visa refusals, they usually are given to master degree students, for adults. For bachelor degree students, there are usually no problems, because a bachelor degree student, you just graduated from high school, right? And your sponsors, your parents, they are here, they remain in Russia, right? And they will sponsor you and they will support you. And the consulate knows this. So bachelor degree students are safe, I would say. However, take a look at this. The visa waiting times in Canada is very, very lengthy. This year, I had 6 students who were accepted to Canadian universities. They got their scholarships, everything went fantastic. However, we applied for the visa and they had to start their studies in Canada this September 2023. However, some of them are still waiting for the visas. I had 2 people get their visas 2 weeks ago, and they must start their studies in January now. So remember, if this happens, even if there is a delay with your visa and you can't start your studies in September, there is always January. So many universities start their studies 2 or 3 times per year, right? So there are loopholes. Australia is very similar to Canada, with the fact that they have a big demand in skilled employment. Australia has similar immigration laws, which give you automatic postgraduate work permits. This is why many students go to Australia, because they need an easy way to get employment, and that's good. I mean, it's not a bad thing, right? We all study because we want good careers. Take a look at the right hand side, right? And um, as you can see, Australia is quite a small place, and it's a very young place. Only like 50 years ago, Australia was a desert. But right now, take a look. Top 70 of all universities, world universities, are based in Australia. This is arguably a bigger and better statistics than in the US, which has much more universities than Australia. And look at this reputation it actually got through such a small amount of time. Then let's take a look at Europe. Well, obviously, there are a lot of countries in Europe, but the most popular are those 3. Why those 3? Again, because those countries give good employment prospects and they boost top universities, right? And you can also study in English. So remember, no matter which country you choose, you can always choose an English taught bachelor degree. However, you should always remember, when things get to getting an internship, when things get to actually finding good practice or employer or a work visa, you will need the official language of the country. So remember, similar to China, right? You apply, you study in English, you get your bachelor degree, but do make sure that you will need to study the official language of the country. The exception would be the Netherlands, I would say. In the Netherlands, I think 95% of things are in English. Even the employers, even the work visa, nobody really needs Dutch language. No matter how non-valid this may sound, they don't really need it. Also, take a look at the tuition fees. Tuition fees are quite affordable as well. For example, in France, as we can see, statistics tells us the cost is from 7,000 euros per year. However, there are some universities that will charge you 2,000 or 3,000 euros. Such budget or free education is usually French taught. So the main difference between English taught bachelor degree and bachelor degree taught in the official language of the country is actually the tuition. If you study in the official language of the country, it's much cheaper. That's the main rule. The visa waiting times, as you can see, not so much. I would say France is really quick about everything. This is why everybody loves France. Germany, many of you might have heard that German consulates, they closed all over Russia. So the only consulate we have right now is in Moscow, and pretty much all of Russia is in the queue to Moscow right now to get a German visa. This is why the visa waiting times have increased. Some of my students were waiting for 3.5 months. One of my students were waiting for 5 months, but he got his visa in the end. So that was just slight discomfort, as to say. Regarding the Netherlands, I would like to point out one more thing which might be interesting for the parents. In the Netherlands, there is a huge problem with accommodation, student accommodation. Many universities, they don't have their own student campuses, no student housing. If they do, usually they're fully booked with international students. So in the Netherlands, quite often there is such situation that students need to live in hotels and hostels for quite a long time. This is quite costly, this is inconvenient, so please do know that nobody can really do anything about this. The best thing we can do is to apply for the Netherlands university and just stand in the queue for any vacant room which might be left somewhere. That's the only thing which is possible. Other popular countries, right? So not many students choose those countries. However, each one of those have their own specific advantages. For example, Hungary. If you're looking for fully free education, fully free, I mean no tuition, you pay nothing for the housing, you pay nothing for the food. Such an option exists only in Hungary right now. Spain. If any one of you is interested in business, Spain has by far the best business schools there are, with the best startup projects for bachelor degree students. Italy. Italy is a very affordable direction. As you can see, only 3,000 euros per year. Education is the only problem with Italy is that the education is usually in Italian language, so there are not much opportunities for English taught bachelor degree. Ireland is very quick on the visas. United Arab Emirates are the best right now for artificial intelligence, I would say, and they have a really, really big developing education system and innovation and STEM right now. The same with Singapore and South Korea. Asians in general, I would say I would put Japan in there as well. Japan is not very popular because it demands Japanese language. However, in Singapore and South Korea, there are a lot of bachelor degrees in English language, quite a lot of scholarships. So affordable education is possible as well, and best academic standards. By statistics, Asian countries, they give the best graduates in STEM subjects. Regarding countries, this is pretty much it. Then, when to apply? Like Miss Angela was saying, it is very, very important to apply in advance. Why is it important? Not only to apply in advance to ask for all the documents that you need. It's important because the standard deadline for any country, right, is at least 10 months before the start of the study. So if you wish to start your studies in September 2024, well, in the ideal world, you need to apply right now, right this second, because the deadlines would be in November, December, and January of this winter. As you can see, other countries, they have different deadlines. Somebody wants the documents in March, other universities want the documents in August, right? So there are different deadlines. It's impossible to actually say when do you need everything unless you actually make a valid university list for yourself. But the only rule you need to remember is 10 months before, so a year before your graduation, right? Then what documents are needed to apply? No matter which country you choose, the document set is pretty much the same everywhere. So there are 5 standard documents which are a must for every single country. You can't go without them. First of all is the transcript from the International School of Tomorrow. Your GPA, grade point average, has a lot of weight. So if it's possible right now, aim for a high GPA. It's always a must. It will save you in the last minute. Then even if you're studying on a double diploma right now in the International School of Tomorrow, I do know that all of your subjects are taught in English. Irrespective of this, some universities they will give you a waiver. So you don't need to pass any English language exams because your school provided everything for you. However, some universities, they're very strict, and they say if you are living and if you're studying in a country where the official language is not English, you must do the exam. It doesn't matter where you studied, it doesn't matter if you studied in an international school, it's a must. All right, so there is a 50-50 chance you will need to pass the exam. Then you will need to develop your CV, you need to write your motivation letter, and you need to ask for 3 recommendations from your teachers from the International School of Tomorrow. This is a must, okay? No question about it, a must for everybody. How then, depending on the country and the program you choose, there might be additional requirements. So everybody heard about ACT and SAT exams. Those exams are optional right now. Pretty much 98% of the universities have those exams as optional. So you don't need them. You will get into the university without them. However, if you aim for a top university or if you aim for a full scholarship, then those exams are highly recommended. Even if the university says we don't need it, again, nobody will tell you this, right? Behind the closed doors, the admissions committee are very, very happy to receive your exam. So 50-50 chance again. Some universities might have their own university entrance exams. For example, in Germany. In Germany, to get into some universities, you actually need to get a student visa or a tourist visa, go to Germany physically, and pass your exams there. Some universities have online exams. So Hungary, for example, if you want to go to a business school in Hungary, most likely they will send you an online mathematics exam. Or well, they might demand an interview from you, or if you're going for a creative subject such as fine art or architecture, a portfolio is the most important document of all your set. Now, we're almost finishing. So right now, let's take a look at the difficulties. So right on this slide, we now know what documents are required. And from the first site, there are really no problems, right? Everything is clear, 5 documents, anybody can do it, right? Right. However, depending on the laws, depending on the regulations of a certain country and the university, there might be water stones. I will not, in general, there are 16 water stones you can stumble upon all over the world. There are 16 of them. Well, the big ones, right? I will not go over all of them. You will, your teachers, Miss Natalia will send you this presentation after we're through. You can read them on your own. We will speak about a few just to give you an impression what you may expect. So the second point, the writing standards for application documents. So as we can see, right, well, you need to develop a CV and a motivation letter. CVs and motivation letters might be different for the US and for the Netherlands. So each university might have their own question set or their own specific guidelines in writing. So what you write for the US might not be applicable to Europe or China, let's say, for example. Then point number 4, document verification. Miss Angela very clearly and constructively told you about the apostille and authentication. This is required actually in many countries, and this might be the biggest problem of visa refusals. So if you don't authenticate your document in the necessary manner, the university might refuse you entry, or even the consulate might refuse the visa. This is how strict they can get. Then point number 6, financial statements. Financial statements might be interesting for the parents because it's the parents' duty to provide the financial statement from the bank as proof that you have finances to finance the tuition fees. Some universities require this document in advance. So before your child gets accepted to the university, before you apply, the university immediately asks for this document. So if you're applying for a scholarship, let's say, right, if you don't have the financial statement, which they require, let's say they require a financial statement for 10,000 euros, right? Sometimes, well, it's impossible to show this statement because the bank can do it, right? Sometimes the time is not right. Sometimes the money is kept on different accounts, right? So there are many different reasons why it's impossible. So, and if you want to apply for a scholarship because you require budget or affordable education, this university might refuse you. So it's important to understand in advance what the university wants from you, so you would not waste time. So that's the whole point of avoiding the waterstones. The second slide continues throughout the waterstones. There are 16 of them, as I said, but we will not go over all of them. The majority of them, I would say, are common sense when you start doing this, right? You will see this, or the university will tell you about this. However, unfortunately, some universities don't say anything. They just send you the normative documents, and they tell you go ahead and apply and we will see. And we don't know what might be the result of this. We will see. And this is pretty much it. Right. Now you know pretty much everything about what's going on in the market. So next steps. This presentation, we tried to do it as concise as possible because when it comes to education abroad, there are thousands of information leaflets. There are a huge amount of information, right? It's impossible to include everything in the presentation. So next steps. As a gift to International School of Tomorrow from our company, we give you, every single member of this webinar today, a possibility to get a free individual consultation with me or some of my colleagues to actually speak and discuss your specific case and your specific country choices. This is the best thing that you can do if you're interested in education abroad, because as I said, too many factors, too many waterstones, and it's impossible to discuss all of them in 30-40 minutes, right? So next steps, you need to leave feedback, complete the student form for me, so I know who you are, what kind of profile you have, and sign up for a full consultation. Usually we charge money for these consultations. However, for you, it's a gift. We're happy to work with ISOT students, and we're excited. So, or you can text me directly, or you can ask Miss Natalia. She will pass you on to me, right? And now we have a question answer session. Any questions, ladies and gents?
All right, thank you, Yaroslavna. That was so wonderful. Just an excellent presentation for students and parents. I'm just giving some time to parents if they have any questions. They may write into the chat and you can answer right away. And we have Miss Angela here nearby to me, so she's also ready to answer the questions directly. If we will not get any questions, it means that people understood that all their questions they have to deliver directly and personally because this is their specific case. But what I want to add for the parents, because we have at our webinar parents offline school and the parents whose students are studying in our distant department and the online department. So what I want to mention and maybe answer the question already, which we may get that the students of those departments, of course, they do not go to school every day and they study with the help of the teacher online, but they still have a possibility to get the recommendation letter and still can make a portfolio because our school conducts a lot of conventions and Olympiads and a lot of projects that the students may participate remotely and still get the benefit or get the recommendation letter from their teachers. So because the distance students, they are studying not only within one teacher, if we're talking about the senior level students. So that is why to get the recommendation, it is possible. It is possible, but you just have to participate. And when we promote different events, please, dear parents, don't ignore them or don't consider that it's not your child doesn't need it because he doesn't come to school every day. Please participate because you are also the part of our school. You are our students. It doesn't matter where you live right now or if you have the possibility to study offline school. So that is why just an encouragement for the parents and understanding that everything is possible. So as I see in the chat, we have one question. What about leading China universities? So we have the parent. What about leading China universities? As I understand that the parents probably wants to know the top universities of China, and we can switch into that slide, which Yaroslavna, you did have. If you could move.
Yes, give me a second.
And you
China,
will.
China, yes.
Yeah.
Here we go, China, yes.
Mm-hmm.
On the right hand, you can see the print screen of the top ranking universities for 2023. This is the world top ranking universities.
All right, so you can make a screenshot for yourself, Mr. Puchkov, if you, but later, as we mentioned, that you will be able to see this presentation on the school website. So we are not hiding it, we are promoting it. So that is why if we have, this is the only one university, only one question, then basically I don't see any others. And if that is it, I think they it just means that they have only in personal questions, that in general the session and the presentation was wonderful. You answered all type of questions, so it was the appreciation. Thank you from
Thank you
the
for the
parents.
kind words. Yes, but I think it's a very difficult matter. Education abroad, it's a tough decision. So, yes, I think it's best to think about everything. Take a few days, read the presentation again, and it's best to come for a personal session. So where we can meet each other, we can understand each other better, and we can actually dive into your specific wants and desires and aims. Somebody is asking a question, or?
Yeah, there's probably one more. Why some universities don't accept K-12 graduates?
K-12, as in, you mean grade 12? Grade 12?
Probably they mean that maybe some universities of some countries, they accept 13 years of study. Maybe this is what they mean, that not only the school studies is not 12 years, but 13 should be. I know that there are some universities that accept 13 years of studies.
Yeah, my apologies for the confusion. It's just in some countries K-12 is kindergarten level. Anyways, doesn't matter. If you mean that why some universities don't accept students who spent 12 years in high school and graduated with 12 years, the reason is historical, because in some countries they study for 13 or even 14 years in school. So, for example, let's take Germany, right? Let's take Germany and International School of Tomorrow diploma. Some universities in Germany, state universities, I actually spoke to them a few months ago because I had I had a few students who wanted to go to Germany, and they told me, listen, we will accept the International School of Diploma transcript. Everything is fine with the grades. However, our internal German law requires AP exams specifically. Why do we require AP exams? Because some schools don't have AP exams, right? And it's nobody's fault. And some children, they can't go to other countries and study for those exams in conjunction to whatever they do in their own country. So it's quite inconvenient and impossible. Okay. And they say we require AP exams because our kids in German schools, they study for 13 years. So 12 years is not enough. They actually need 13 years of school education, or they need 11 years of school education and 1 or 2 years of university academic level education. So it's a bit like that. It's a bit confusing. I know some universities, they're okay. They will accept International School of Tomorrow transcript. They will give you access. They will give you visa, no problem, right? Some state universities, they say, no, we need to abide by the law, full stop. And that's it. And you can't really do anything with it. So the best thing you can do is actually analyze, send them the documents, talk to them directly, do the admissions.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Yaroslavna, so much. We don't have any other questions. We do have your contacts. So dear parents, you understood that you can contact through me, or you can contact directly. You received all the contacts on the screen. So you're welcome. For an extra promotion and support, I would like to say that me as a parent personally use this company for my own son to enter the university, and I say that I was fully satisfied with an job they did, but the visa issue didn't let him go, unfortunately. But it wasn't their fault, absolutely. So it was just the changing of the world that we couldn't predict anyhow. So that is why we also have to consider that something may change quickly and fast. So that is why the webinar which we conducted today, again, I repeat that it's for basically year 23-24. The information for this particular period of time, and I would try to do my best and keep you update the coming years. But I know that some parents, even of younger ages and lower grades, they already started to think about their kids' future, even now, though they still have 3-4 years before graduation. All right, so dear parents, dear students, we finished our program. We conducted all our sessions, so thank you so much for your participation. Mr. Len,
Just wanted to, thank you so much. Wanted just to thank Yaroslavna. That's a beautiful presentation indeed.
Thank you.
Very in depth. Definitely, even though I'm in the flow of all those events, but what you shared, there's lots of different insights that I believe even us, the school administration, have to think about. And of course, for you, our parents, I guess it's a great gift if you consult this agency and go in a more specific way about every university. And I would, for myself, and I got a confirmation that number one, you have to start preparing in advance. Secondly, there's not an across the border solution for every university and for every country. You have to be specific about the country and about every particular university. One more time, thank you very much, everybody, for participation. Thank you, Mrs. Natalie. Thank you, Mrs. Yaroslavna, for beautiful presentation. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Leonid, for this invitation. I really appreciate you, Miss Natalia. You're
thank
amazing.
you. Thank you, and
Yes.
have a nice
We'll
day.
We'll do it in an Asian way. Thank you.
And have a nice evening also for the parents all over the world. Thank you so much.
Yes, be in touch, everyone.